All righty.
Woo!
That's how I always start our
All
podcast.
righty.
All righty.
All right. All right.
Okay, we are going to be kicking off a leadership series where we have our leadership team. We kind of we highlight everybody on our leadership team, and they each have an episode. So we just wanted to kick this off with an introduction about how this came about. So again, I'm Lindsay Schmeezing from the Mercer County ESC. I've been with the ESC for 6 years, going into my 7th year. And
I'm Emily Kriegel, who preemptively waived 3rd year. Oh, no, I'm starting my 4th year. I've finished 3 years here at the ESC. I'm curriculum coordinator.
all right, we'll start off with just a quick intro to our series. All right, so Emily and I are going to.
All right.
I did, and I just
It's
said,
just hard.
okay, we have been talking about this, and I don't know why, but every time that we go to record, we always say, all right,
or the person's name.
Or
Yeah.
yes, we always kick it off like that. And now we're getting better about like editing some of that.
We would love
But
suggestions for better
yes,
filler words.
Give us some suggestions.
Like
on some filler-
cheesecake. Like we'll just start using random words for fillers.
They'll be like, okay,
Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but that's how we always start it. Maybe it's gonna be like our signature. All right.
Oh, we should.
We should.
Oh,
We should
merch.
have-
Keep an eye for our merch store.
Yes, I love that. All right. There we go.
It's filler. It's just
feel like
fillers.
this is
When I was
becoming
in
a
10th
blooper.
grade, and had to do speech class, Mr. Dillon, I don't know where he is these days. But the only points I got off was because I was a like queen. Nothing is ever literal. It's like this. It's like that. And he's like, stop saying the word like. But I don't know how to like.
But it's hard when
Right.
Like,
I'm a like person. You'll notice it. Even when I text, I use the word like all the time. It's just like, I love similes. I don't know. Everything's just a simile.
Right. Well, apparently we're all right people
All
now,
right.
So
All right. Okay. We're reclaiming it. I like that idea.
I do like
We're
that.
not embarrassed by it. We're
Nope,
claiming it as
claiming
our
it.
own. Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
We wanted to kick this off by just explaining how the series came about. So we have been doing multiple series and different episodes, and we actually asked for some suggestions on what do you want these episodes to be about. So seriously, like if you ever have a suggestion for us, please email us, because that's how this came about. We had a conversation with a superintendent, and they were talking about how, hey, could you do one like on leadership and about having like crucial conversations, and even just talking about how people got into their leadership positions.
Mhm.
And so we thought, what a better way than doing a leadership series where we highlight our leadership team. And then I think the other thing to remember is leadership isn't just always about a title.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about this, just keep that in mind, because Emily and I were both teachers. And if you would have asked me 15 years ago, do you think that you would ever leave the classroom and be in a leadership role? I would have told you absolutely not.
I agree. And I think that, like, I would argue, like, now I'm going to be thinking about it. I should have thought of Mr. Dillon. Oh, he was a good teacher, though. He embedded that into my brain. So I think that teachers often don't think of themselves as leaders because we hear it even ourselves. So I'm putting quotation marks if you're not watching, I'm just a teacher. When you are leading how many people every day. So even when we start coming down this, like, of course we have our superintendents and our building administrators who are leaders by title. Cause like, I don't even think of myself as a leader. And I think it's weird to record 100%. This because we've already recorded most of the series, but we have multiple people that we sit down with who's like, I don't feel like a leader. And they're even leaders by title. So I think it's also important to remember that even when you don't feel like a leader, there are people who are looking at you like a leader. So the way that you conduct yourself and the way that you have those crucial conversations or have relationships with people, no pressure, but there are people watching and seeing. And in a teacher's case, it's students because you're modeling.
Don't you feel like it's really important for us to tell other people when they are a leader? Because that's actually what happened to me. And I would have never, ever considered myself a leader until somebody said, do you realize that you are a leader?
And
like,
hold that door open,
quiet
right?
leader, but you like help other people and pick them up. And it would not have been something that I would have ever said, oh, like I'm a leader.
I think that's my favorite thing to do in the work that we do is to elevate people to the platform that they need. Because not everybody, there are some people that are just like, no, please do not shine the spotlight on me under any circumstances. And that's fine. And I respect that. Like we need people obviously we can't
Right.
all just be in the spotlight all the time, but there are people who are just waiting and they just need that light to
Mhm.
grow. And I think it's really cool when you get the chance to do that for people, to put them on a platform to share their craft or to share what they're doing beyond just the four walls of their classroom. I think that that's a really cool opportunity that we get oftentimes to say like, no, what you're doing is special. Because
Mhm.
when we do it every day, it doesn't feel special. But
Right.
there are a lot of people doing really special things day in and day out that they just need that spotlight shown on them so they can say like, huh, maybe I am a leader, right?
Yeah.
And you just never
Well,
know.
and I think what we need to do is I think that we should talk about how we got to where we're at, because
Yeah.
I think maybe that would help other people kind of realize, like, yes, we are all leaders, and even though you might not think of yourself as a leader now, like, down the road,
Mhm.
that might change.
And so you can be aware of some of the situations that may
Uh-huh.
lead you to that leadership. I love that. Let's do it.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Talk about that next. I guess I'll start. Did you see I
I
didn't
was
do it?
watching
I
your
was like,
brain
"Ugh,"
buffer.
I was really, yeah. So I'll start. Uh I don't even really know where to start because where does it really begin?
In
I think
March of 19 no.
yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding.
Um, so my background, I graduated from Fort Laramie. I went to the Lake campus, and then once I graduated from the Lake campus, I got a job at Marion Local. I taught 3rd grade, 1st grade. Within my time at Marion Local, I was there for 12 years. I think one of the biggest profound things that I did, was I was asked to be on the negotiation committee, and I was like, "No, I do
Mhm.
not want to do that. That sounds very uncomfortable and not something that I had any information really about." Like, I didn't really understand what they did. But that honestly was one of the best experiences for me. So when I first got my job at Marion in 3rd grade, I went back for my master's, and I remember somebody telling me like, "You should get your master's in like admin." And I was like, "No way," because I would no, I
Yeah.
never want that job and I would no. So I went back and I got my master's in literacy, and it was great, but then as I was in my role for a while, and honestly, it was after the negotiation committee and things like that, and I did that like 3 different times, and then somebody came up to me and they said, "Hey, I think that you are a leader." They kinda pointed it out to me, and at that time, then I was actually looking into classes to go back and get my admin license, and I kicked myself because I already had my
Yeah.
master's and I should have done that.
Uh-huh.
But when you're young like that and you're just entering into the classroom, I would have
And
never in a
how old
million
would
years
your
I
kids
would.
have been at this time?
So I just got married, and I was pregnant with
Okay.
Ava. But then when I went back for my like admin classes, I did have my 3 kids, and I think Kari was just a couple years
I know,
old.
I think that's
So
hard too, right? Because
that's
your life and your career are taking off at the same time,
Yep,
right?
and that
Mhm.
is hard, and so I did my admin classes online through American College of Education. It was very hard, to be honest, because and I don't wanna say it was busy work, it was good work,
Right.
but it was a lot of research, it was things that you're putting into practice, and just the amount of work that I had every week was really, really hard because it takes away from your family,
And you're also
and
teaching.
then you are yeah, yeah. Well, and I take that back because I actually it was my 1st year at the ESC or 2nd year that I started my
Oh,
classes.
okay.
So, it
Yeah.
was a
Well,
transition
I
for
can't
because it's my
imagine
2nd master's,
digesting this
right?
job too. This job is insane and you only learn it by doing it.
Yes. So, it was really nice because a lot of my projects and things aligned to what I was doing as a curriculum coordinator.
Mhm.
So it just helped me in my work, but it just was time consuming and it took 2 years or year and a half, whatever it was. And then after that, that's when I was like, okay, now I can go back and get my superintendent classes done. And that
Mhm.
was a year. And honestly, that wasn't as difficult or as time consuming as your admin license, but you have to go and you have to take your OAE and all of that once you get your principal stuff. So
So how'd you end up here?
okay, so that's a good question because at that time, that's when I was looking to, go back and get my master's in admin, and I
Mhm.
always thought, like, so Karen Rose was a curriculum coordinator, so she would come into Marion and do that work, and I was like, "I love that work, like, that
Uh-huh.
would be so fun, like, I would love to do that." And then a position opened, and I was like a teacher called me that I worked with at Marion, and she said, "I think you need to apply for this."
That's
And
awesome.
I was like, "No, I don't." Like, I don't even
Uh-huh.
have my admin license, so I probably can't even apply for that. So I actually called Karen and talked to her about the position, and she was like, "You should apply even if you don't have your admin license, like, you can apply."
You are so brave.
And this was in August, mind you. So I had my
Yeah.
classroom set up and ready to
Uh-huh.
go. I interviewed, and then, that week they called and offered me the position, and I felt really bad because I felt like I was putting Marion in a really bad
Yeah.
spot because it was beginning of the year. So, I talked to them and, anyhow, it
That's
it
where I think
worked
education
out.
is tough because of that window of time. In any other industry, if you get a
Right,
better opportunity, they go, right? And
right.
not saying that, obviously your administration was supportive and go
Yes.
reach for the sky. But like in education, I think sometimes we feel connected as
Yeah.
we probably should. But you know what I mean? I think that
Mhm.
makes those decisions even tougher.
Well, and I think that was the best part is the admin team at Marion was so supportive and was
Hmm.
like, "You need to do this. Like, if you're going into the admin world and you're gonna lead in that capacity, then you need to take this opportunity to do it." I was just struggling because I felt like I was leaving them in a bad spot,
Yeah.
which I was. I mean, and I felt really bad about that. But the best part about it is in our role, we still get to work with Marion.
Hmm.
So I still, we still get to work with the
People
district
that,
that
yeah,
I taught in for years. So, and now I'm like, I love what I do, and
it's a
I
pretty good gig.
and not that I wouldn't ever go back to the classroom because you miss that aspect of working with students,
Hmm.
but you're just leading in a different way. So by us doing the work that we
Yeah.
do, we're helping build capacity, and
We
it's
are.
what's
Yeah.
best for students because if we can lead the way to support teachers who then support students,
I know I always have to
it's
remind myself, Emily, you are still impacting students. It's
yeah.
just 2 steps away.
Yeah,
And so I have to keep reminding myself so when I
agree.
get that itch, like maybe I do just want to go back in the classroom. And I don't even mean that just. Listen, I'm even doing it myself. But like maybe I do want to go back in the classroom. But my brain is like, you are still impacting students.
Uh-huh.
It's just to, and maybe even a greater impact because to be the support for the people who support so many people, that's all I ever want to do is just give
Mhm.
teachers information and give them support because they are doing the heavy lifting.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay, now you need to give your spiel. How
well,
did you get here?
mine couldn't be more opposite than yours.
But I think that's important for people to know. It's
Yeah,
it's not it's not always the same route,
no, it's
right?
not
Like
the same
it's
route. Okay, well, for me, I graduated with a bachelor's in English and writing. I had started as an education major, but left that. So when I graduated with a degree in English and writing, there weren't a lot of opportunities. So it got to be about winter of my senior year of college, and I was like, I've got to figure out something to do. So I took the LSAT, got into law school at Toledo. I don't know if I ever told you. I'm gonna flex. Actually, got a full ride. Um,
no, you never
I
told
know.
me
Yep,
that.
got a full ride to Toledo. Went to law school. It was obviously as hard as you would expect it, but probably not as hard. But I did really well in contracts and legal research and writing and like things I expected to do well at.
Mhm.
But I realized, and I don't know how I realized this at 20 years old or no, I would have been 21 and 22. That I would not be able to sustain the life I wanted as a mother and be really good at the things that I was really good at. So I decided to leave law school with no plan. We were living up in Toledo. This is a common theme for the story. No plan. So I delivered pizzas, waited tables, worked at Bed Bath and Beyond. And then I accidentally stumbled upon an accelerated master's program at the University of Toledo because I still didn't have my teaching certificate. Because honestly, the reason I gravitated away from education is because I thought that that's just what everybody wanted to do. Every little girl wanted to be a teacher. Like growing up, you played school all the time. Like I kind of like kept pushing that calling away because I'm like, well, that's just what everybody wants to do. So I did this master's program. You complete it in 10 months. You are taking master's courses and student teaching simultaneously. So I started student teaching at Rogers in Toledo and I loved it. I fell in love with Toledo. And actually, when I finished, I had a job back home that was offered to me, and I had a job at TPS that was offered to me, and I wasn't ready to leave TPS. So I stayed in Toledo, taught there, loved it. And then I came back home with my husband and took a job that I thought was going to be my forever job in a district. And then just life happens. And so I made a shift. I said I would never teach middle school. I say this all the time. People who are listening have probably heard this. I said I would never teach middle school. I taught 8th grade for a year, and that was probably the hardest year of my life. I had my son, and he was young, and I was just like, I can't even explain it. It partly had to do with classroom and partly just had to do with life and the way life was working. And I knew I had to leave the classroom,
Mhm.
because I am a firm believer that education and medicine, if you're not ready to do them, you should step back because they impact so many other people. So I took a job at Rhodes right before COVID hit. It was probably the greatest blessing that I ever got because I don't know that I would have survived a COVID classroom.
Mhm.
And I worked as a CCP navigator for 3 years, and got healthy as a person, met great people who helped me grow. And then I accidentally stumbled upon, because the only problem with Rhodes, I loved it, but at the end of the day, I got to be honest, it wasn't paying the bills. I was waiting
Mhm.
tables at night with 3 young children just so that we could make ends meet. And I stumbled across this job on Facebook. I had no idea if I was qualified, but it sounded really cool. So I sent my stuff in. I didn't consult anybody I didn't know. But but I'm like, we'll just go for it, right?
Yeah.
And so somehow I got the job,
Because
and
she was a rock star in her area,
no,
yeah.
I think it was because you needed a secondary voice, a person who had experience in secondary education.
Oh.
But but I think what's important, what I take from my experiences are 2 things. One, you have to take care of yourself first. Like, no matter where you land in teaching or leadership, you have to take care of yourself because I think I would have not hurt kids, but if I had stayed in the classroom, it wouldn't have been fair for anybody in
Right.
this situation, not my own children, not me, not the students in my classroom. So you have to take care of yourself. There's no shame in that. And then also just keep your eye out for open. Like, you don't have to be qualified. Like, you know what I mean?
I
You
think that's
don't.
one of the most important things, and when we go to some of those leadership conferences, like, they always talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I do think as and I'm gonna go to on the female side of
Uh-huh.
things, but females typically are like, "Oh, there's 10 different things that you need. I have 9 of them, but I'm not going to
Yep.
apply
Yep.
because I don't have all
Yep.
10."
Yep.
Right? And
And it was
that
the one time in
no,
my
you
life
don't
when I
need to
was
have
like,
all 10, and
I'm
that's
not even reading
okay.
the requirements. I need more money and I need to feel fulfilled.
Yep.
And that was my 2 criteria, and it worked. And I think,
And
and
now
we've,
here you are
I
today.
know, look at us with a podcast,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
With 27 followers. But we do even talk about that with colleagues that we've watched come and go into other roles,
Yeah.
is that y- sometimes you have to make a decision that doesn't feel. I just don't believe in right or wrong. I really don't believe in right or wrong. I think that it just creates a different future.
Mhm.
It's just different. Like, there's no
Yeah.
right or wrong. So waiting for the right job or the right time, that's silly. Like, there's no such thing as right or wrong. You just have to go in head first.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't work, well, then
That's
move
okay.
on.
It
I
doesn't
I don't
work.
know. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It feels a
Yeah.
little aggressive, but I think that it makes life easier for everybody because no boss wants somebody who doesn't want to be there working under them, right?
Mhm.
So it works best for everybody, in the situation. So,
Well, and I think we work really well together. I think that
mhm,
we have a great team here.
we do.
So I think the important thing is when you are in those leadership roles, because sometimes you feel like you're on your own little island because Th that's kinda how I felt, like,
Mhm,
as curriculum, there was only 2 of us,
mhm.
and it's not like there are curriculum people in some of our districts, but that's 1 person in a district.
Uh-huh.
You have to find your people that are your people, like,
Exactly.
your hype people, your people you go to when you're having a bad day, people that are gonna lift you up when you need it the most, or just there to just listen
Mhm.
or give you some advice or whatever
I
it
know, I
is.
think that's why there's success and then why we're so happy in what we do because I've said it before to you, is like, I know it's not gonna be a bad day
Mhm.
because there's somebody else who can help me lift those things that are too heavy on the days that I know I'm not able to lift them, and it's cyclical because I'm more than happy to lift things when I have the capacity to do it as well when somebody else isn't having a good day. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we do, every single person in this building and every single person we work with has the same, um, foundation that they're working towards, and that's what's best for students. And I
Yeah.
think when you take a step back and you, even when you're so angry at somebody, I've
Mhm.
yet to meet an educator who's like, I want to ruin students' lives today, right? Like,
Right.
nobody wakes up and says that. So
Yeah.
I think giving that grace and finding connections when we're all here for the same purpose,
Mhm.
leadership, teaching, aides, everybody, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, everybody wants to help those students. So I
And
think
I think
that's the
every
piece.
single person is a leader in their own way, shape, or form. So even when you think like, I'm just an aide or I'm just a
Yeah,
teacher, like you
no,
are not just an aide or a teacher. Like you are a leader to people in that building.
absolutely. And
So
to kids.
yeah. So that's what this series is really all about. We have different topics that we are focusing on with our leadership team. We ask them 3 to 4 questions each. We throw some humor into it if we
We
can,
try.
and you get to know the person on a personal level as well. So we hope you enjoy the series. This is our kickoff, and I don't forget what the very first episode is.
It's Shelly's.
Yeah.
No, that's Karen's.
Don't ask us, but the
Yeah.
first episode is with Shelly, so go watch it. It will be coming, and we will be releasing these every single week. So
Cool.
every single week on a Friday, they'll be released. So please come back and visit us.
Okay, Lindsay, we almost forgot the joke.
We did almost forget the joke, and Emily was like, "We still have to do our joke."
We got so
as
serious.
I closed out the last segment, Emily's like, "We have to do the joke." So here we are, one more time before.
Yeah.
Before you go to watch
still come back
our
and
other
listen.
Yes, please come back and listen. But,
Yeah.
okay, what's the joke here today, Emily?
Since this follows the theme perfectly.
All right.
Since I was an English teacher
Okay.
who went to law school, I've got a good joke for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
How are English teachers and judges alike?
No.
They both give out sentences.
I was gonna say something with words and then
Isn't it so
sentences.
good?
That's
Sentences.
good.
It's a real good one.
Good job.